students, today we will study poem named The Mother Bird, composed by Walter de la Mare. Now, before starting the poem, I will give little introduction about the poet Walter de la Mare. Walter de la Mare was a British poet, short story writer, and a novelist who often used the pen name Walter Rummel. He wrote for both children and adults. A common theme of de la Mare's writing is the supernatural. As example, being the extremely popular poem The Listeners. Now, in this poem, that is The Mother Bird, de la Mare captures a common scene in nature. A mother bird sitting in her nest and imagines the range of emotions she must be feeling, from fear to courage, hopelessness of joy. In this poem, the human being, the speaker poet, is the intruder who stumbled across a private and delicate moment and has to retreat, looking foolish beside the beauty and dignity of the bird. Now, this is a small summary I have given you. Now I will explain in a detail, students. Through the green twilight of a hedge, I peered with cheek on the cool leaves pressed, and spied a bird upon a nest. In this beautiful poem, the speaker, that is a poet, looks through. Twilight is called a very dull light. So the speaker looks through a very dull light through the hedge and spot means see, a mother bird guarding her nest. And the poet looked through the cool leaves by placing its cheeks on it, and carefully observes the bird upon a nest. Now, next stanzas. 2 eyes she had beseeching me. Beseeching means, students, begging or pleading. 2 eyes she had beseeching me, meekly and brave, and her breast throbbed hot and quick above her heart. Now the poet and the bird's eyes met, and the bird seems to plead or beg. So when the poet and the bird's eyes met, bird seems to plead the poet or beg with the speaker not to disturb her. She looked both scared and brave to him. and her brown breast, that is called as chest. So her brown breast beat, throb means beat, very fast, which is just above her heart. So it is saying that her brown breast was beating so fast, which was just above her heart. Now, next stanza. And then she opened her dagger bill. It was not a chirp as a sparrow's pipe. At break of day, it was not a trill. Now, she then opens her beak. Dagger bill is the beak of the bird. Okay, why it is called as a dagger bill? Because the beak of the bird, you must have seen, it is very sharp, right? It is very sharp and it's conical shape, just like a dagger or a short knife. So then she opens her beak, which is very sharp, which looks like very sharp pointed one, right? And could not utter a single cry or could not sing in a high voice. And it does not sound like a sparrow chirping. Means she wanted to, as she opens her beak, she could not utter a word. She wanted to, but she could not utter a word. She could not sing in a high voice. And she does not sound like a sparrow, as the normal sparrow they chirp, and she doesn't seem to sound like a normal sparrow chirping at the end of the day. As a normal sparrow chirp, it does not look like a sparrow chirping at the end of the day. As falters through a quiet even. Even is an old-fashioned usage of evening, but one sharp solitary note, one desperate fiery and vivid cry. Now, even the sound was growing weaker. Okay, as in a previous stanza, I told that the bird couldn't utter a single word or could not sing, or you can say could not cry. Cry means sing. As she was trying, even 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 when she was trying to speak, the sound was growing weaker. Okay, students, and the sound was growing weaker. Even it was not like a sound that can be heard in the silent, quiet, means silent evening, as they used to chirp in the evening. It is a sharp, very shrill, very sharp, solitary. Solitary means very alone, single, sad kind of. So it was a sharp, solitary note which sound which appeared as a miserable, which sound or appeared to be as a miserable, okay, and also strong and also very strong and clear cry of her. Okay, that sound seemed to be very miserable. Okay, that sound seems to be very, means very miserable, but also that miserable sound was very strong and clear. That miserable sound or cry was very strong and clear. So it was, though it was a miserable, but yet it was a very strong, clear cry of her. Her means the mother bird. Okay, students. Now, next para. Of valiant tears and hopeless joy, one passionate note of victory, of like a fool afraid I sneaked. Now, it seems that the mother bird expresses both the tears of braveness, or you can say tears of courage, and the joy of hopelessness. Okay? So it was showing the mother bird expresses both the tears of courage and also the joy of hopelessness. Another note was filled with passionate victory. Okay, another means note was filled with passionate victory. On the other half, her tears were her tears were of braveness or a courage, and also she was showing the joy of hopelessness. But on the other note, on the other side, she was filled with passionate victory. Then poet, or you can say speaker, felt felt very foolish and also afraid, and quickly moved away from there, because he was peeping, so that he would not be noticed by the mother bird. As he was peeping, spying the mother bird, and she was having she was expressing the tears of braveness, the joy of hopelessness also, and somewhere she was showing the passionate victory. So as he was peeping through, the poet was quietly spying, peeping through, he felt very foolish about and very afraid. So he thought he would move away without without the notice, without being noticed by the bird. Now next, smile, smiling, the fool smiles best at the mother bird in the secret hedge, patient upon her lonely nest. Now, the speaker smiled awkwardly because he was spying and noticing the lonely bird, what she is doing. She was having a mixed kind of emotions, as in a previous stanza I told you. So the speaker smiled very awkwardly. He felt very foolish. He was looking very foolish. Okay, so he smiled very awkwardly for being very foolish intruder. Okay, he was the intruder, means without permission he was just looking and peeping. Okay, for being foolish intruder, while the mother bird remained at her nest. Still the mother bird was sitting at her nest, patiently guarding upon her lonely nest. She was patiently guarding her lonely nest, as waiting for the for her kids to come. Okay, the egg should be hatched. She was waiting, she was lonely and waiting for the egg to be hatched. That's why it has said that. And she was waiting patiently waiting upon her lonely nest. She was patiently guarding upon her loneliness so that no one else can come and take away her eggs. Okay, students, thank you.